Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or maybe you've struggled to recall a name that used to come to you in an instant. If that sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not alone. Moments like these can feel frustrating, even a little scary. But here's the good news. Memory loss isn't just an inevitable part of aging. In fact, there's a lot we can do to keep our minds sharp and focused, even well into our 60s, 70s, and beyond. You know, I once sat next to a woman named Carol on a flight from Seattle to Denver. She was 74, full of energy, and had the most incredible memory. She told me all about her grandchildren's latest adventures, recited a poem she'd memorized in her teens, and even helped me remember the name of a restaurant I'd forgotten. When I asked her secret, she said, "I treat my brain like a garden. I water it, I feed it, and I pull the weeds." That stuck with me, and science is beginning to confirm what Carol seemed to know all along. Studies from institutions like Harvard and the National Institute on Aging are showing that small lifestyle changes, things that are totally doable, can dramatically impact how our brains function as we get older. For example, researchers at Rush University found that people who followed what they called the MIND diet, a mix between the Mediterranean and DASH diets, had a 53% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's. Isn't that incredible? So in today's video, we're diving into 5 powerful, science-backed habits that can help prevent memory loss after 60. These habits are practical, proven, and best of all, anyone can start them, no matter their age. And stick with me until the end, because the last one might just surprise you. Before we dive in, a quick but important note. This video is for informational purposes only, and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is unique, so always talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works beautifully for one person might not be ideal for another. Alright, let's get into the first habit that could completely change the way your brain functions day to day. Let's talk about movement. And no, I don't mean you have to run marathons or start doing backflips in your living room. I'm talking about simple, regular physical activity, something as basic as a brisk 30-minute walk every day. You see, exercise isn't just good for your heart and muscles, it's like Miracle-Gro for your brain. One study from the University of British Columbia found that aerobic exercise actually increases the size of the hippocampus, the part of the brain involved in memory and learning. That's huge, especially since the hippocampus is one of the first areas to show damage in Alzheimer's disease. I remember my neighbor George, he's 68 now, and used to be the definition of a couch potato. He once joked that his Fitbit thought he was dead, but after a minor health scare, he started walking every morning. Nothing intense, just around the block, a few hills, a little sunshine. After a couple of months, he told me, "I can actually remember where I put my keys again." That's the kind of real-life change we're talking about. And it's not just anecdotal. A study published in Neurology found that people in their 70s who exercised regularly had better brain volume and performed better on cognitive tests than those who were sedentary. Even light exercise like gardening or stretching was linked to a lower risk of dementia. The key is consistency, not intensity. So if you're thinking, "I'm too old to start now," please don't believe that. The truth is, it's never too late. Even starting with just 10 minutes a day can make a difference. Think about what fits naturally into your life. Maybe you take the dog for a longer walk. Maybe you dance to your favorite oldies in the kitchen. Or maybe you join a senior yoga or Tai Chi class at your local community center. The important thing is to move, because every step you take is a step toward better brain health. Now, here's something else I find fascinating. When we move our bodies, we also improve our blood flow, including to the brain. That increased circulation helps deliver oxygen and nutrients that your brain needs to thrive. It even helps clear out toxins that can build up over time. It's like giving your brain a refreshing shower every day. Plus, regular movement can boost something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Sounds like a mouthful, I know. But think of BDNF as brain fertilizer. It helps neurons grow and stay healthy, and it's been linked to better memory, learning, and even emotional regulation. And guess what? Exercise is one of the best ways to increase your BDNF levels naturally. So if you've been feeling foggy or forgetful lately, your body might just be craving a little more movement. No fancy gym equipment needed, just your commitment and a pair of comfortable shoes. Now that we've covered this essential habit, let's move on to something just as powerful, something that plays a major role in the health of your brain cells and can be found right on your plate. In part 2, we're diving into how the foods you eat every day can either protect or harm your memory. And trust me, some of the foods you'll hear about might already be in your kitchen. Others, well, you might want to reconsider them. So stick with me, because the next habit is one that could make a huge difference, starting with your very next meal. So now that we've talked about movement and how it keeps your brain healthy, let's shift gears to something equally powerful, and maybe even more enjoyable: food. Now, I know food can be a sensitive topic. We all have our comfort meals, our traditions, and those little treats we look forward to. But here's the thing, what you eat doesn't just affect your waistline, it can shape the way your brain functions every single day. And the science is incredibly clear on this. There's one eating style that keeps popping up in study after study when it comes to protecting brain health. It's called the Mediterranean diet, and honestly, it's less of a diet and more of a lifestyle. Think fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, legumes, and fatty fish like salmon or sardines. Basically real food, stuff that comes from the earth and the sea, not a factory. Researchers at Columbia University found that people who closely followed a Mediterranean-style diet had a 40% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. That's massive, and they weren't doing anything extreme, just eating balanced, colorful, nutrient-rich meals. Let me tell you about my Aunt Linda. She turned 80 last year, and she's sharp as a tack. She reads books faster than I do, and never misses a birthday. A few years ago, she started getting into cooking Mediterranean-style meals after reading a book about brain health. She started making lentil salads with lemon and parsley, snacking on walnuts and blueberries, and swapped her usual butter for extra virgin olive oil. Within a few months, she said she just felt better, clearer, lighter, more energetic. And that's not unusual. See, certain foods are packed with what scientists call neuroprotective nutrients. For example, omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish, flax seeds, and walnuts, are crucial for maintaining the structure of brain cells. Polyphenol, found in berries, dark chocolate, and green tea, help reduce inflammation and protect brain function. Antioxidants, which you'll find in leafy greens, sweet potatoes, and colorful veggies, help combat oxidative stress, one of the things that damages cells and contributes to aging. Even something as simple as eating more leafy greens can make a difference. One study from Rush University Medical Center found that older adults who ate one serving of leafy greens per day, like spinach or kale, had memory abilities equivalent to someone 11 years younger. 11 years. Just from adding greens to your daily plate. Now I know what you might be thinking, healthy food is bland, or I don't have time to cook all that. But honestly, healthy eating doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to become a gourmet chef overnight. Start small. Swap white bread for whole grain. Add a handful of berries to your breakfast. Drizzle olive oil instead of reaching for creamy dressings. And let's talk about the other side of the coin, what to avoid. Unfortunately, the modern Western diet is loaded with ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats. These things can wreak havoc on your brain over time. In fact, diets high in refined sugars and trans fats have been linked to increased risk of cognitive decline. One of the biggest culprits? Sugar-sweetened beverages. Yep, that includes soda, sweet tea, and even those healthy bottled juices. A study published in the journal Alzheimer's and Dementia found that people who drank more than one sugary beverage a day had smaller brain volumes and poorer memory compared to those who didn't. So if there's one change you make this week, try swapping out one sugary drink for water or herbal tea. Your brain will thank you. And here's a fun, practical tip. Try what some nutritionists call eating the rainbow. Not in the candy aisle, but by filling your plate with colorful fruits and veggies. Each color represents a different set of brain-boosting nutrients. Reds like tomatoes and strawberries, greens like broccoli and kale, purples like eggplant and blueberries. All of them work together like a symphony for your brain. Alright, let's say you've started eating better, moving more. What's next? Here's where it gets even more interesting. Because one of the most surprising factors in long-term brain health has nothing to do with what you eat or how much you move. It has to do with how you use your brain. That's right. Mental stimulation, exercising your mind, is just as important as physical exercise. Now, this doesn't mean you have to start doing calculus or learning 6 languages, unless that sounds fun to you. But your brain loves a challenge. And the more you engage it, the more connections it builds, literally. Neuroscientists talk about a concept called neuroplasticity. It's the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This is what helps you keep learning, growing, and adapting, no matter your age. In one study from the Mayo Clinic, people who regularly engaged in mentally stimulating activities, like reading, writing, playing games, or learning new skills, had a 30% to 50% lower risk of memory problems. That's huge. And it means that even if you didn't finish school or haven't done a crossword puzzle in years, your brain is still capable of growing stronger. Take Jack, a retired truck driver I met through a community gardening club. He'd never used a computer until he turned 65. Then, on a whim, he signed up for a free digital photography class at his local library. Not only did he discover a passion he never knew he had, he also noticed he was remembering things better, sleeping more soundly, and feeling more connected. Learning something new doesn't have to cost money or take up your whole day. Try a new recipe. Learn a few words in another language. Pick up a puzzle, take up painting, or join a book club. Even watching documentaries and discussing them with friends can help keep your brain firing on all cylinders. And if you're already doing some of these things, fantastic. Keep going. Your brain thrives on variety and novelty. The more you explore, the stronger those mental pathways become. Now that we've explored the power of food and mental stimulation, we're going to dive into something that affects all of us: motivation, energy, and overcoming daily challenges that come with aging. Because let's be honest, even when we know what's good for us, life sometimes gets in the way. Whether it's pain, fatigue, or just plain lack of motivation, it can be tough to stick with new habits. But there's hope. In part 3, we'll explore how to push through those challenges, build momentum, and keep going, no matter your age or starting point. Plus, I'll share a few real stories that just might inspire you to keep moving forward. If you're enjoying this so far and want more simple, science-backed tips to stay healthy as you age, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We share helpful videos like this every single week, and we'd love to have you as part of our community. So we've talked about how movement, nutrition, and mental stimulation play a role in preventing memory loss. But let's be real for a moment. Knowing what to do is one thing, actually doing it, day after day, is something else entirely. And if you've ever started something new with excitement only to lose steam a few weeks later, you are absolutely not alone. Aging can bring with it some real challenges. Joint pain, fatigue, low motivation, grief, isolation. These are all things that many people over 60 face. And they can make it hard to build or maintain healthy habits, no matter how good your intentions are. But here's the beautiful truth. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. Let me introduce you to Paul. I met Paul at a community wellness event a few years ago. He was 72 at the time and had just started strength training for the first time in his life. Before that, he'd always considered himself unathletic, his words, not mine. He used to get winded walking up the stairs and had trouble sleeping through the night. But something shifted when his grandson asked him if he could come to a soccer game. Paul realized he didn't have the energy to keep up with the little guy, and that hit him hard. So he started small. Twice a week, he met with a personal trainer who specialized in seniors. They focused on simple movements, bodyweight squats, resistance bands, light dumbbells. Nothing flashy, just the basics. And slowly but surely, Paul started to feel the change. I feel 10 years younger, he told me, beaming. And I haven't had to look for my reading glasses in days. They're right where I left them. The reason strength training is so powerful, especially after 60, is because it doesn't just help your body, it helps your brain. A study from the University of Sydney found that older adults who engaged in regular resistance training showed significant improvements in memory and executive function. That's the part of your brain that handles things like planning, organizing, and focusing. And get this, those benefits lasted for over a year after the program ended. That's the power of movement and consistency combined. But physical activity is just one piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked: sleep. Yes, good old-fashioned rest. It might not seem exciting, but sleep is one of the most important habits for preserving memory and cognitive health. When you sleep, your brain doesn't just shut down. It actually goes into cleaning mode, clearing out toxins, consolidating memories, and even forming new neural pathways. If you've ever noticed that you forget things more easily when you're tired, that's no coincidence. Chronic poor sleep can actually shrink parts of the brain involved in memory. One long-term study published in Nature Communications found that people who slept fewer than 6 hours per night in their 50s and 60s had a 30% higher risk of developing dementia later on. That's huge and completely preventable. So how do you get better sleep, especially when aging brings things like insomnia, nighttime aches, or frequent wake-ups? Here are a few tips that have helped a lot of people. 1. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time, even on weekends. 2. Limit screen time before bed. The blue light from phones and TVs can mess with your body's natural rhythm. 3. Create a calming bedtime routine. Maybe it's herbal tea, gentle stretching, or reading a good book. Whatever signals to your brain that it's time to wind down. 4. Watch caffeine and alcohol. Both can disrupt deep sleep, especially as we age. And if you're still struggling, don't tough it out alone. Talk to your doctor. Sometimes a small adjustment, like a magnesium supplement or a better mattress, can make all the difference. Now let's talk about something even more powerful than sleep or exercise: connection. Humans are wired for social interaction. And yet, so many people over 60 experience loneliness or isolation, especially after retirement or the loss of loved ones. But staying socially engaged isn't just good for your heart, it's essential for your brain. A 2021 study published in the journal Neurology found that people with strong social ties were significantly less likely to develop cognitive impairment. The act of talking, laughing, and sharing stories actually helps your brain stay sharp. I remember a woman named Gloria I met at a local senior center. She started attending weekly dance classes just to get out of the house. At first, I was terrified, she told me. I hadn't danced since my 20s, and I didn't know a soul in the class. But over time, those classes became the highlight of her week, not just because of the music and movement, but because of the people. New friends, new conversations, and yes, a whole lot of laughter. Gloria said her mood lifted, her memory improved, and she finally felt like herself again. So whether it's a book club, a walking group, a virtual meetup, or even regular phone calls with loved ones, make connection a non-negotiable. Your brain will thank you. And if you're feeling stuck or unsure of where to begin, start small. Reach out to one friend this week. Sign up for one new class. Volunteer somewhere local. The smallest act of connection can open the door to something much bigger. Now that you've got these powerful tools, movement, nutrition, mental stimulation, sleep, and social connection, it's time to bring it all together. Because ultimately, the most important habit of all is the one we're going to talk about in part 4, your mindset. How you think about aging can dramatically influence how you experience it. And the way you approach daily life, your attitude, your belief in what's possible, can literally change your brain chemistry. So stick with me, because in the final part of this video, we're going to wrap it all up with a simple, powerful message and a challenge that just might change the way you look at aging forever. So here we are. You've made it to the final part of this video, and that says a lot about you. You're someone who cares about your future, about your health, and about living life to the fullest, no matter your age. And for that, I just want to say, I'm proud of you. We've covered a lot so far: movement, nutrition, brain exercises, sleep, and social connection. But now let's talk about something that ties all of it together, something that often gets overlooked but has an enormous impact on memory, health, and happiness: your mindset. Yes, your mindset. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your self-talk. These things shape your reality more than you might think. You see, aging doesn't just happen to the body. It happens to the mind too. But here's the thing, your brain is not set in stone. Scientists used to believe that after a certain age, the brain stopped growing. But we now know that's not true. Thanks to something called neuroplasticity, your brain can continue to form new connections, adapt, and even get sharper well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. But it all starts with how you see yourself. There was a fascinating study conducted at Yale University. Researchers found that older adults with positive beliefs about aging, those who saw getting older as a time of growth, wisdom, and opportunity, lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with negative views. Isn't that amazing? Just shifting how you think about aging can influence not only your mental health, but your lifespan. So ask yourself, how do you talk to yourself about aging? Do you say things like, "I'm too old to change," or "My best years are behind me"? Or do you say, "I'm still learning, still growing, and I have so much to offer"? Because here's the truth, you are not done yet. You are still here, still breathing, still capable of incredible things. One of my favorite stories is about a woman named Rose. At 94 years old, she enrolled in college to finally earn the degree she had put off decades earlier. When someone asked her why she was doing it at her age, she smiled and said, "Well, I'm going to be 95 anyway. I might as well be 95 with a college degree." That's the spirit we're talking about. No matter your age, you can set goals. You can learn something new. You can start small and build habits that protect your memory and enrich your life. And yes, there will be challenges. Some days you won't feel like walking or reading or cooking a healthy meal. Some days it might be easier to sink into the couch or the past. But every single day you get to make a choice. Not a perfect choice, but a powerful one. Because aging isn't about decline. It's about becoming more of who you are. Let's take a moment to recap, naturally, without going into a list, just a gentle reminder of the tools now in your hands. Maybe you've started walking more, noticing how fresh air and movement clears your head. Maybe you've added more leafy greens to your meals, or swapped that extra cookie for a handful of berries. Maybe you've picked up a crossword puzzle, or decided to call an old friend for a chat. Maybe, just maybe, you've gone to bed a little earlier and woken up feeling just a bit more rested. And if you haven't done any of those things yet, that's okay. Because today is the perfect day to start. One small change. That's all it takes. Dr. Michael Greger, a leading voice in lifestyle medicine, often says that chronic diseases, including memory-related ones, are not just a matter of fate, but often of choice. That we can, in many cases, outlive our genetics through consistent daily habits that support the body and brain. That's not meant to pressure you, it's meant to empower you. You're not at the mercy of age. You have influence. You have power. So here's my final challenge to you. Pick one habit. Just one. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk after lunch. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for before bed. Maybe it's calling someone you love, or learning one new word a day to keep your mind active. Whatever it is, do it today. Not tomorrow. Not next Monday. Today. Because your brain, your body, and your future self are counting on you. And the amazing part? The more you do it, the easier it gets. Habits compound, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. You don't have to settle for fading energy or foggy memory. You don't have to give up on living fully, laughing loudly, or learning something new. That spark you had when you were younger, it's still in you. It might be quieter now, but it's there, waiting for you to fan the flame. So be kind to yourself. Be patient, but also be bold. Take the first step toward a healthier, sharper, more vibrant you. And as we close this video, I want to hear from you. What's one small habit you're going to start today? Write it in the comments. We'd love to cheer you on. Your action might even inspire someone else to take that first step. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical tips on healthy aging, memory, and living well at any age. We've got so much more to share with you. Here's to strong bodies, sharp minds, and joyful hearts. Here's to living your best life at any age. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.